immediately went to the athletic director to let him know that we have a situation, because this is a day that falls before a vacation, a spring break. By MSHSAA bylaws, that any athlete or anybody who participates in a MSHSAA activity by bylaw 212 must be in attendance a full day to participate in any activity over a vacation. So you must be in school prior to the start of a vacation. That is a MSHSAA bylaw, unless the absence or the excused absence has been pre-approved by the administration. At that day, there was no pre-approval given to anybody who was absent that day. Pre-approval means before you're absent, you have to get the permission to be able to participate because of your absence. I immediately then went to the coaches, gave them a attendance sheet, letting them know that any student athlete that they have on that sheet is ineligible to participate in any contest that falls over that break. They are ineligible until they complete a full day of classes, as bylaw 212 states in the MSHSAA bylaws. Over that vacation period, there were some activities. We had 2 students who participated in an academic meet who were not eligible to do so, that were allowed to do so, and for whatever reason that is, I'm not going to get into that. And then we had a group of track athletes who had a meet that day. We returned back from spring break, who were leaving at 10:30 to head to the UCM relays in Warrensburg, who could not participate because they had not yet fulfilled the bylaw by being in school a full day. Through that conversation with those athletes and through the conversation with the coach with those athletes, it seemed to raise some disagreement, in which they called parents. Parents got very upset regarding that. Numerous phone calls were made to my office. There was one particular parent who was pretty persistent and wanted to, let's just say, criticize, to say the least, of the decision, of the rule, and would not accept the answer and wanted to go over my head. As our policies and procedures merit, they asked me if the superintendent was available. I said, or could they talk to the superintendent? I said, you are most certainly welcome. If you want to speak to the superintendent, and I said, I serve, if my boss says, for me to go ahead and allow it, I serve, my boss, and I'll go ahead and do that. But, right now, this is a rule. This is what happens if you have an ineligible athlete participate, that you can lose your eligibility for a complete school year, 365 days, or the team could lose their eligibility for 365. I said, understand this. They chose to go to the superintendent in order to go ahead and try to get this overruled. But I want to back up a little bit, because prior to this, I sat down with Mrs. Sell in that morning and discussed this with her, to let her know that this was going to be an issue, because there was a lot of upset people regarding this particular bylaw. And I explained to Mrs. Sell what my feelings were about it, and went through the rules and everything, and we discussed it. And Mrs. Sell had told me that I was to follow the rule, and that she was standing behind me 100%, because it is a MSHSAA bylaw, and we are a member of MSHSAA, in which I returned back to my office and field these phone calls. I told the parent tried to contact Mrs. Sell. Mrs. Sell was tied up in a meeting. The parent contacted me back and asked me if there's another individual they can contact, and I said, certainly you can contact the board. They asked for the board president's number, and I gave them the board president's number. As I've heard so many times in these meetings, that they want to hear from you, and that is the chain of command. Now, from that point forward, I received a phone call from Mr. Daffrin instructing me to allow the athlete to run. I asked Mr. Daffrin, I said to him, very simple. I said to him that she is not eligible to run. She was not in school for a full day in attendance. In which he replied, he said, I asked the parent if she would swear on a stack of Bibles that she was home with her, taking care of her, and she would do this in court. And she said, yes, so I'm going to allow the athlete to run. I said, that's your decision. The athlete was allowed to run. Knowing this was a violation of bylaw 102, Mr. Banker and I filled out the proper paperwork, filed with MSHSAA a self-report of violating bylaw 212 and bylaw 102.
What is 102?
102 is any member school of MSHSAA agrees to adhere to all the rules set forth by the state of Missouri and its member schools. Knowingly and willingly violating that policy is a very severe situation. We self-reported. We filed all the information. We took the academic athletes, suspended them for one meet to equal the one meet in which they were ineligible to participate in, forfeited the meet that they participated in to Lawson, which in the result was costing them a conference championship. I'm sorry I had to do that, but in order to stay within the bylaws of MSHSAA, I had no choice. I am not going to put the school district in a situation in which they're not going to compete. I took care of that. I held the other athletes out of the meet in which they were ineligible for, filed the paperwork with MSHSAA. MSHSAA accepted us. I do have the documentation, the letter from MSHSAA stating that they appreciate what we have done and the way we handled it, that the administration did a wonderful job in doing so, and they accept our discipline actions that we took for bylaw 212. However, they stated that bylaw 102 is a different beast, and that we will have to answer to that, where I was invited to a meeting in the Lake of the Ozarks by the executive director, in which I had to provide to him all documentation in a private meeting that took place in my hotel room with the executive director and Mr. Stewart, where we went through all the documentation. I showed him all the absentee sheets, everything that we did, all the write-ups that we took place, the coaches meeting that we had to make sure everybody understood. And he took that information to the executive meeting that was held at the Lake of the Ozarks the following week during the AD conference.